They believed faith could carry them through anything, until the day a doctor told Sember that having a baby could cost her life. Some love stories begin with a promise. Kervin and Sember Kanives began with faith. They were two people brought together by their love for God, their love for one another, and a shared desire to help others.
Kervin was a few years older, already further along in his training when the beautiful dark-skinned woman with naturally copper-red curls caught his attention. But it wasn't only her beauty that drew him. There was something about Sember, something deeper. And what began with an invitation to church slowly became friendship, then love, and eventually marriage. Kervin followed Sember back to her homeland, where the two of them began building a life together. They served in their church.
They worked with children. They poured themselves into their community. And like many young married couples, they dreamed about what their future might hold. A home, a family, children of their own. But sometimes the life you imagine is not the life you are given. And though the mountains rise before me, your grace is greater than their height. You are my refuge, my salvation, my song through darkest night.
This is the story of Kervin and Sember, from We Forgot to Seek God, a novel by Rose for Grace. Psalm 27 verse 1, King James Version. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? For Kervin and Sember, the first few years of marriage would test nearly everything they believed. There were some words Sember would never forget. Words that followed her long after the person who spoke them had left the room. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Kanive. You will never be able to carry to full term. The doctor wasn't simply telling Sember what had happened. He was telling her what he believed would never happen. A baby, a full-term pregnancy, the family she and Kervin had imagined. Worse than that, he warned her that trying again could cost Sember her life. But Sember knew another voice. A voice greater than fear, greater than a diagnosis, greater than the report sitting in front of her. She knew the God she served.
She knew him as a healer, a deliverer, her savior. And Sember could not bring herself to believe that a doctor had the final say over her life. Because she and Kervin had already learned something about faith. Sometimes faith is easy when everything is going well. The real test comes when everything you prayed for seems to be slipping through your hands. Sember had already suffered 3 miscarriages and 2 tubal pregnancies within the first 4 years of their marriage.
5 pregnancies, 5 heartbreaks. Each loss had taken something from her, physically, emotionally, and Kervin had lived every one of those losses beside her. He had watched his wife bleed. He had stood in hospital rooms. He had waited through procedures. He had prayed. He had hoped. And more than once, he had wondered whether the woman he loved would ever come home with him again. With every miscarriage, Sember hemorrhaged. Each time, she required blood transfusions. Twice, her body gave out. Twice, she coded. And twice, Kervin nearly lost his wife. But nothing would compare to the last tubal pregnancy. Something had gone terribly wrong. The baby had been deceased inside Sember's body for more than 2 weeks. Her body was fighting an infection she did not even know was there. By the time doctors realized how serious her condition had become, the infection had spread. Sember became septic. Her condition deteriorated. Her body began shutting down. Machines surrounded her. Tubes helped keep her alive. Doctors moved quickly, and Kervin stood beside the woman he had crossed an ocean to build a life with, watching her slip further and further away. Every test told the same story. Every number pointed in the same direction. According to everything medicine said should have happened, Sember should not have still been alive. Then came the conversation no husband ever wants to hear. The doctor asked Kervin if he had someone there to support him. He needed to speak with him about an important matter. Kervin nodded. Yes, Sember's mother. A short time later, The doctor spoke privately with them. He had done everything he knew to do. They needed to prepare for the worst. Sember might not make it through the night. Kervin looked at him. You have done all you can do. But my God is not done doing all he can do. Then Kervin smiled. I will see you tomorrow. The doctor could not understand his confidence. But Kervin believed God was not finished. That night, Sember remained unconscious. Her body lay still beneath the hospital sheets. Machines breathed and beeped around her. Doctors watched. Nurses waited. Kervin prayed. And one by one, people began showing up. Some stood beside Sember's bed. Some laid hands on her. Some whispered prayers. Others cried out to God. Day after day, different people entered that room. Different faces, different voices, different days. But always prayer. The doctor watched them. At first, he could not understand it. He had spent years studying medicine. Years learning how the human body worked. Years learning how to diagnose disease. Years learning how to save lives. And yet these people seemed completely convinced that prayer could accomplish something his education could not. He even wondered to himself, if these religious people truly believed prayer worked, then why had he spent all those years in college learning how to save people? But soon, something happened that challenged everything he thought he knew.
Sember still did not know what was happening around her. She did not know how many people had stood beside her bed. She did not know how many prayers had been prayed. She did not know how many tears Kervin had cried.
She did not know the doctor had already prepared her family for her death. But somewhere inside that still body, life remained. The doctor had reached the limit of what he understood. Kervin had reached the place where all he could do was trust. And somewhere between life and death, grace was still speaking Sember's name. One day, while the doctor was making his normal rounds, Kervin told him something unexpected. He wanted the tubes removed. The doctor thought Kervin had finally accepted what he had been saying. He thought Kervin was giving up. So the medical team removed the tubes. The room went still. Everyone waited. The doctor watched the monitor. Kervin watched his wife, and then Sember did something no one in that room expected. Discover the rest of Sember and Kervin's story in We Forgot to Seek God by Rose for Grace. We Forgot to Seek God, a novel by Rose for Grace, available on Amazon and through Ingram Spark.
We Forgot to Seek God, a novel by Rose for Grace, available on Amazon and through Ingram Spark.